KTN.
The fight for the soul of the vote-rich Western region continues to intensify, with both the ruling regime and the opposition pushing to have the region under their control. However, with barely 12 months before the country heads to the ballot, the battle is just getting started. As ktnnews files, political commentators opine that both political factions have a lot to do to woo the voters in the region, insisting that large political gatherings do not automatically translate to votes in the polls.
Western Kenya has in recent weeks become the epicenter of political attention, with the country's political heavyweights from both camps jostling for the region's support come August 10, 2027. From last weekend's Linda Mwananchi rallies cutting through Kakamega County to joint efforts by President Ruto's camp most recently on Friday, with both political rallies in the guise of development tours and even media engagements spearheaded by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, both factions are leaving nothing to chance.
Opposition iko disjointed, disorganized. We must unite, we must work together, we must move together.
So sisi tumesema sababu Musalia ni ndugu yetu, ni baba yetu. In 2032 tutamsupport. Lakini in 2027 tunaomba jamii ya mkoa Magharibi isimame na Edwin Watenya Sifuna.
Many argue that the sudden shift of focus to the Western region by the President Ruto-led administration, days after opposition engagement that drew supporters in their thousands, could signal the importance of the region in the 2027 political matrix.
Actually, it is a panic because Western region matters a lot in terms of vote numbers. For sure, that huge crowd that came out in those rallies is something to worry, and that's why President William Ruto decided to, send his troops that comes from Western Kenya to be on the ground. One, to make sure that they get back the ground.
The forays by the Sifuna-led faction have arguably destabilized the status quo, with the old guards now facing an uphill task in their quest to erode gains and inroads made by the opposition. President William Ruto is heavily dependent on his local foot soldiers to win back support of the region amid the ever-elusive Luhya unity.
We cannot afford to ignore the influence of Mr. Edwin Sifuna. Whether or not he's a presidential candidate, that is something that you cannot afford to ignore. You can also not afford to ignore the experienced political players like Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula.
It will be difficult for Mudavadi and Wetangula to gather votes for the president in Western Kenya if the presidency of Sifuna is realized and the opposition decide that their flag bearer will be Sifuna. That will be a crisis, and the crisis will not end in only Western Kenya. It will come across all over the counties.
Political analyst Dr. Arun Isak maintains that President William Ruto's biggest gamble is opposition unity. He argues that if opposition settles on Edwin Sifuna as their preferred presidential flag bearer, then President Ruto's second and final term ambitions will be dealt a major blow.
Sifuna is riding on a very critical thing where their youth factor, he's trying to indicate that he has new blood into the political leadership in terms of the energy, in terms of idea. It will be an uphill task for them to have Sifuna as a flag bearer, but if that happens, the whole game changes in terms of the political landscape for 2027.
As the country enters into the final 12 months before Kenyans go to the ballot to elect the next government, the stakes couldn't be higher. Political commentators opine that President William Ruto must rise to the occasion to secure a second term by finding answers to the questions at hand, among them the choice for running mate, with arguably the vote-rich central region out of his grasp, if the recent mini-poll in Ol Kalou is anything to go by. Ian Kitani, KTN, Nairobi.
All right, we take a short break right here on Weekend Prime. Still more to come. Keep it KTN.